chapter 2. You know, when I think about a chapter 1 or volume 1, I think about setting up a story. This is your first chance to get the audience's attention. Lots of people have three episode and a drop rule, so you gotta really get them soon. And what the author will feel inclined to do, or at least the ones that I've been reading recently, are put, what's the right word? Seeds. They're putting seeds in their chapter to be called upon later, as like a callback or as like a foreshadowing, which is fine. But I don't always catch them in the moment, you know. Sometimes I learn later who the female Titan was. Sometimes I didn't pick it up in the first 50 chapters. Which makes me feel stupid when I'm reading it because I'm missing what Isayama's putting in the foreshadowing in the chapters. But I can tell it's there. I just can't tell exactly what I'm missing until the big reveal. But I can feel it as a reader that, oh, this is kind of irrelevant to me now, but I bet you later this is going to make a ton of sense and all come together and I'll get payoff. I'll get a huge payoff for the investment of my time and how much I care about the story. Once the twist happens, it's gonna be a huge payoff for me. I'm gonna feel great. I'm gonna feel like this author's really smart. I'm gonna feel like the story is really well written. Maybe from end to beginning instead of beginning to end. All that to say, this first chapter, I got so much resolution, so much tie-ins. I saw it 3 or 4 times while editing it, so it just became more obvious to me then. You know, Kenshin starts off the chapter being met by Kaoru, but not giving his identity. She calls him out in the first line, "You're the Batosai, I found you!" And he says, no, I'm a huge liar. I'm actually just a wanderer now. Kihei? Old man. That's what I was calling him while we were reading. Old man. Kaihi. So Kaihi, he's in a very similar position as Kenshin. Kaoru thinks he's just a dude who came to live with her, live at her dojo and help out. She has no idea that the 2 men inside her dojo are both lying about their identities. Kahi is very suspicious of Kenshin. Rurouni is one with no destination. You shouldn't let your guard down with somebody like that, Kaoru. Don't be so kind. I know. But he's fucking playing her. So both these men are keeping their identity secret. You as the reader know Kenshin's secret from the first page because the story he is the Batosai. Kahi, he gets a reveal. No, Kaoru, I was actually working against you the entire time. Keeping my identity secret. Watching the Rurouni to see if he was gonna get in my way. The Rurouni also watching me. Suspicious of me. Kaoru, oblivious. She's got no idea what's going on. She's sitting there trying to solve her murder. She's not paying attention. You know, she has a very romantic or moving line at the end that says, "I don't care about your past. I just care about who you are now." And then Kenshin goes, "You should have cared about what guy he had in his past." That's very funny. She's being so kind, but again, naive. You don't know anything about this guy. But truth be told, I was in the shoes of Kaoru during this chapter. I was not aware of what was going on. I was just as naive. I was focused on saving her dojo. Or keeping her dad's honor alive or something. I was completely oblivious to what was about to happen to her. And if Kenshin wasn't there, it would have been the worst day of her life. She might have died. I don't know if they were gonna kill her, but boy, they were messing her up. The fact that the imposter was Kahi's brother. Didn't see that coming. The fact that Kenshin ditched Kaoru at the market to go handle the problem himself without Kaoru even knowing. Didn't see that coming. It's just usually when I read a story, 60% of the time or more, I am in the shoes of the main character, following along the story with the main character. My perspective is from the main character's perspective, more than half of the time. This time, though I was following our hero, I was not... He was smarter than me. I didn't get what he was doing. I was with Kaoru. I was completely blown away at every reveal. No, I'm actually the bad guy. Oh my god. No, I'm actually the Batosai. Oh my god. No, I'm actually the guy who's gonna steal your dojo from you. Oh my god. I didn't see it coming. You know, the way I would have expected something like Chapter 1 to happen is like maybe Kahi steals the deed. And in Chapter 2, we gotta go get it back. Or, maybe this fat ninja guy who's claiming to be the Batosai gets away and says, "You won't forget me. You'll see me again. This isn't the last time you've heard of me." And then he runs away. But no, it's just closure. They opened a bunch of threads, and then they just sealed them up in the first chapter. It feels like a cohesive story. The 50 pages. There's no cliffhanger to make me want to... Everything was tied up. I feel so much... I feel like we told the story we wanted to tell. I feel like we got everything out in the first 50 pages. What we wanted to say. How the Batosai is feared. How Kenshin doesn't want to go by that name anymore. How he ends up staying at a dojo that had a reputation for having the Batosai there anyway. But now he's really gonna... the real Batosai has showed up, and he's gonna stay at her dojo. You know, when Kahi gives the bribe to the cops, I'm thinking, oh, thank God, he's keeping Kaoru's ass safe. She's mouthing off, she's gonna get in so much trouble. No, he was just like, get the fuck away from us, because I'm a huge criminal, and I can't have you guys around here. I'm not sure what I think of the comedy. The comedy is slapsticky. So, you know, sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's not. If it's a surprise, or if it's I didn't see it coming, then it's usually more funny. I guess there's a few of them. But they're usually at a page turn, so the joke is kind of a reveal, kind of you're supposed to laugh spontaneously when you flip the page. I was just really impressed. I've been reading a few manga, and I get through the whole volume, and I think, okay, I basically know the characters, but I sure don't know what this is about. I felt like I got a ton of aboutness in the first chapter. I feel like I could put the book down. I feel like I got the resolution I needed. It's a very strange... In some ways it feels like a one-shot. In some ways I bet it probably was before it made its final round into the first chapter. It's just so complete as a story, in a way where none of the other mangas I've read have been a complete story in one chapter like that. Like, you could just pick it up and read chapter 1 and then put it down and feel like you've got 90% of what the author was trying to give you. Instead of, well, come back next time. Now, 10 hours in, you're going to get season 2, or just put a little bit more time in the game, and then it'll get fun. Or, no, they just gave it to me. They gave me awesome fights. They gave me a twist that tricked me. It attempted to be funny. I think it was a little funny. I got some historical notes or handouts for the history. Kahi wants the dojo to westernize it. He wants to sell it for industry. He's thinking about money. He's thinking, why do we have a stupid sword fighting school for a bunch of kids who can't use swords to fight anybody anymore? This is an old idea from an old era. We'll get little Kaoru to go off and have a quiet life somewhere, and then we'll use the land for industrialization. It doesn't sound so evil, does it? Or at least, I could have written the story in a way where that was not the be-all, end-all evil. I like how Kenshin knows the difference, but you may not have had your hands bloodied, but it was obvious who the bad guy is around here. I don't need fucking evidence or you to have actually thrown a fist to put you in trouble, kid. I know who did this. Your soul is bloodied. After he kicked his brother's ass, he walks over to Mr. Puddle on the ground. Your soul is bloody even if your hands are not. Shall we test the sharpness of my blade? I mean, in a world where the police were doing their job, and the Meiji Restoration was putting society in a place that was better off than it was before the revolution, it almost seems impossible to say that without a wandering samurai here to put justice in place and put things back the way that they were supposed to be. If Kenshin was not here, Kaoru would have lost her dojo. The police would have thought she was the bad guy. I mean, she completely got framed and outsmarted here, and nobody was gonna help her. Like I said, many of the times I read a story, at least more than half, I'm always in the shoes of the protagonist. We're always looking from the perspective of the protagonist, or at least half the time. And certainly as I was reading this, that's what I was doing. But as I was rereading it, and editing it, and re-editing it, I realized that I wasn't Kenshin, I was Kaoru. I was naive and stupid. The only thing I maybe wasn't Kaoru on is I'm a tiny little girl and I'm gonna go fight the Batosai. That seems a little stupid. Or a little, he uses the word naive. You should know your skills versus another swordsman and who's gonna win and who's gonna lose without even fighting, Kaoru. You should be smart enough to know. She wasn't. Twice. You know, there's a couple lines that stand above the others. One of them is, why would it matter? We all have things in our past we don't want to talk about. You do too, don't you? That's why you're a Rurouni. And Kenshin stands there like, son of a bitch. She knows me already. I thought I was super invisible and walking around with incognito and I'm just a wanderer, but she still sees right through me. There's another line where, I guess little brother, even though he's the big guy, is holding up, he's making fun of Kaoru. He's making fun of her sword style. He's saying, hey, the sword that gives life, huh? Why don't you use that right now? Give yourself some life. And then he kicks her ass and he says, your power is all in your little girl dreams. Ouch. He's right. I might take that from my closet. All the manga that sits in my closet, hide it from my really. This is my closet. All you are is just, all your power is in your little girl dreams. Oh my god. When Kenshin's giving, I want to say dressing down, but he's very nice about it. Basically explaining to Kaoru and the crowd and the audience why the sword that gives life technique is stupid, but how it's still the best one we have. Sword is a weapon. Whatever pretty name you give it, swordsmanship is a way to kill. She speaks as one who's never bloodied her hands. Kaoru Domo maintains a sweet, naive lie. But in the face of such awful truths, the naive lie she tells is so much better. I mean, there are just some lines like that that are just. This is chapter 1, guys. There's a lot done in chapter 1. I was very impressed. I was almost overwhelmed. I mean, there's the story on top, then there's the Kenshin's really the Batosai, but I'm not letting anybody know it underneath, and then there's the Kahi and my brother trying to steal Kaoru's dojo underneath that. And then there's all these other cultural references about like the police and how I just fucking poke her finger and put her blood on the deed, and I got her to sign it. You know, they get Kenshin's power level is high, as we say in Shonen. His power level is very high, very big compared to everybody else around him. We have an overpowered protagonist. It's an old school. There's a couple more lines I really like. The police have no weakness in mind and soul, in body and spirit, or however he said that. Weakness in body and spirit. And he has this other line, even now in the Meiji era, the name Hitokiri Batosai strikes fear. That's significant to him because he's thinking the revolution's over. We don't have swordsmen running around. Why are you so afraid? We de-armed the populace. The only people with swords now are the police and a few criminals. So it's fine. Don't be so afraid of a name. They're still scared. The whole chapter is about how fucking scared they are of the Batosai. And this guy uses the reputation of the Batosai to scare everybody. Kenshin's like, I can't believe they're still doing that. I thought we built something. It's funny watching our hero get caught up by the police all the time. Stop carrying that sword around. It's not a real sword. Looks like a real sword. It's reversed. Let me see it. On the ground. Spread them. Stop resisting. If this was America, or this was a 21st century story, or this was an English story, wouldn't as soon as you know who the criminals are, and you're standing right next to the police, the first thing I would do is tell the police where the criminals are. Kenshin does not do that. Kenshin says, I'll go do it by myself. Why? You don't trust the police? You don't think that they can handle the problem without getting themselves hurt? You don't think they can handle the problem without hurting others? For whatever reason, he made a hard choice. They're in the square together talking with the police. He figures out exactly who these people are, and he just dips. I'll go take care of it. Kaoru, you go home. Police, you dissipate. And I'll go, law enforcement. I'll go set things right by myself. But law enforcement would be the wrong word. It's not law. It's like justice. I mean, in a legal sense. Did Kaihi... You know, he has this line where he's like, I usually like to do things like this legally, but if you won't sign the deed, I'll beat you up and make you sign it. As far as paperwork goes and a court and... I mean, he won. He won. If we're leaving it up to the law, I don't know how Kaoru got a appeal for fraudulent claims in the Japanese court. I mean, this guy got her. And Kenshin comes out and says, no, that's not right. That's not the right thing to do. I don't need to defer to the law to decide what's right. I certainly don't need to defer to the police. I decide myself. It's obvious. And I have the strength to make things right, so I'm going to. It's almost vigilantism. I mean, if you had to put a noun on what Kenshin's doing, wouldn't it be vigilantism? I'll execute justice myself. We don't need the police. But yeah, it's really cool watching Kenshin kick everybody's ass with a sword that doesn't hurt, that doesn't cut them. It doesn't hurt them, but it knocks them out. They give us a couple hints on lore and stuff. Kenshin can read, but he can't count. I can't imagine what type of schooling he had, but I find that interesting that he can read all the signs in Kaoru's dojo, but he has no clue how old he is. Kaoru says that Kenshin's over 30. So we'll take that as a reliable narrator. And she also makes it sound like she's alive. She should not be sleeping with 30-year-olds, is what she makes it sound like. They're very kind to each other. They're not very, you get this feeling that Kaoru, needs a daddy. She almost loses her dojo, and, all the criminals are ass up in her dojo with passed out, and she's like, the least you could do is help me out. Do you think I'm gonna run this whole dojo by myself? You wouldn't let me do that, would you? It's a very funny line. So she's crushing hard. You can tell she's crushing hard. I don't know, I guess we'll see where that goes. It doesn't seem very... There's been no hugs, let's just say. No one got a hug. The only time they really touch each other is when he's pulling her hair. I don't know, but it's chapter 1. I figure these two leads are going to be romantically involved. But Kenshin doesn't seem that interested yet. Is my take. Kaoru's crushing. Kenshin likes her, but I don't think there's I think there's 3 scenes where he goes to leave the dojo. I'm not staying. I'm not here to hang out with you. I'm just here to give you a lesson and then leave. This tale begins in Tokyo, in the 11th year of Meiji, with the arrival of a Rurouni Kenshin. What an amazing place to start. The tale begins 11 years after Kenshin executed the revolution and brought about the reign of Emperor Meiji. Rurouni. Oh. Nah, Hitokiri Batosai? No, Rurouni. An author's side note. As I researched further, it began to occur to me that the story wasn't so cut and dry, though. What this Hitokiri could not let go of was his duty to his fallen comrades and to the men that he had killed. All the people behind me that didn't make it to this moment. It's this that gave me the initial idea for Kenshin. He's saying, I'm reading the history, I'm getting my ideas from the characters, from the people in history. Kenshin was a short, clever, skinny, little girl-looking guy who was probably the best assassin on the team. I found a good guy who represents the qualities of Saito, who we haven't met yet, but he's Shinsengumi. In terms of graphic design, I had no real motif. The main character of my debut work was tall, black-haired man in showy armor. So when I set out to design someone completely opposite of that, he ended up coming out like a girl. Not knowing what else to do, I put some cross scars on his left cheek. This is where it came from. This is how the artist got his idea. Looks like a girl, so I put a scar on his face. So, if you care, Kenshin wasn't a real character, but he was based off of a real character. And other characters inside this story are as well. Fine, I'll get to reading. Fine. Act 2. Rurouni in the city. Kaoru, master of the Kamiya Kashin Ryu Dojo, has been running around trying to get her students back. But, not one. Cowards! I don't fight anymore. I do laundry at the dojo. These are times of great change, Kaoru. Once they move on, it's not easy to come back. We don't have sword fighting anymore. Who the fuck is gonna join a dojo? Here's our spread. Kaoru's got her purse clenched to her chest as she's walking through town. Like, I fucking know what these people do. They're gonna try to steal my purse. She's walking in front of her, smiling. Sword out. Not hiding it. Open carry. Himura Kenshin is a swordsman with no destination. A Rurouni, who's currently staying at Kaoru's dojo. What, Kenshin, you walk right into the sumo wrestler? What happened here? Oro? Like, sorry, I did not mean to run into you. Kaoru's like, how is this guy? Captain Colette's over here. Why is he a Rurouni? Well, all the other revolutionaries threw away their swords and have now taken up positions of power and glory in the Meiji government. Most of the samurai threw away their swords and became government officials. That's what she's saying. Kenshin, you have a question in your eyes. Kaoru's thinking back. We all have things in our past that we don't want to talk about. She's kind of hesitating. I mean, I told him that I didn't care, but I kind of care. Didn't I tell you not to carry a sword? Ow, oh. Pat, 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 pat. She's beating him up. Calm down. Just 2 years ago, lots of people carried swords. No one really bothered by it, are they? Kaoru, what are you gonna do when the police spot you like last time? They'll arrest you, even if it is a Sakabato. His reverse blade. It worked out last time, didn't it? Yeah, because Kaoru helped you. She goes, Kenshin, not afraid. I'm walking around with my sword. I don't give a fuck. All the other samurais gave away their swords. I don't care. They all became powerful people with glorified positions in the government. I don't care. They don't walk around with their swords on their hips anymore. I don't care. Please pardon our rudeness. He pulls up right behind Kaoru. She like, I cannot. What is behind me? A giant. It's a car. Is this the correct road to the police station? This guy wants to see the police, and he pull up in a car. Black car, unmarked. Kaoru says, yeah. Take a right onto the main street when you hit the end. Thank you. But now we've kind of transitioned to this new character, Mr. Mustache. So while our two are shopping in the trade district or whatever, this guy's trying to find the police station. Are you here? He thinks to himself. Are you truly in the city? Imura Batosai? He's looking for us. What's the commotion? What happened? Kaoru says. The police caught some guy violating the Sword Banning Act. Oh, I wonder who that could have been. Kaoru drops her bread like, oh shit. That's my boy. Flash to 6 guards cornering our main character here. A sword's out, pointed right at it. Or sticks. They have sticks? I've seen baton. I've seen sword. These guys got... I can't even tell. A staff. Gonna hit him with a bow staff. You gave us a good chase, but now you've got nowhere to run. Kenshin, were you running? Not supposed to run from the police. We've talked about this. I have to go to court tomorrow because of this stupid shit. What can one do but surrender? Move! Let the sword corp through! So apparently there's a corps in the police that use swords. These guys must not be those guys because they're running around with sticks. So here come the real fighters. Those were just peacekeepers or something. But here comes the sword corps. Look at them. Look at that. They're all mean looking. Or our blades will move you. Fucking step aside or I'll kill you, is his first words. Lieutenant Yujiki! Good job. We will take care of it. You are dismissed. But the man hasn't drawn his sword, and we have him surrounded. There's really no need for the sword corps to... And then motherfucker takes his sword out and bashes the guy in his nose with the hilt. The police are not aligned. We have some misalignment between these different corps of the police. Sir, we have him surrounded. He didn't even draw his sword. There's no reason for the sword corps to pow right in the face, shut the fuck up. The third lieutenant would tell a veteran from the Satsuma what to do. When I tell you to leave, you leave. Kenshin looks over like, this is how we do things now? For real? This is what the revolution brought? I did this. Look at them. Okay, here comes Mr. Swordcore. What is this? Such a gentle-looking man? The people in the crowd are gasping. They do not like this show of violence. This is not public execution. This is not Gladiator. This is the police just came up and started fucking trouble, and everybody in the audience is scared. Everybody in the crowd is scared about what these guys are gonna do. Surely they'll follow the law and everything will be easy. Draw your sword, gentlemen. You must be confident to be carrying a sword. Here, Kenshin says, this one does not carry a sword. Put the blade right to his eyes. He closes his eyes. Doesn't kill them all. Like I would have. And instead says something very calm. Oh. He's talking shit. This one does not carry a sword, merely to flaunt it as a symbol of undeserved power. He's calling you out. Kenshin shows no respect. Deference, maybe, but no respect. Kaoru comes running up. Oh shit. Kenshin's in trouble because he's got the sword out with the police again. Kenshin! Cop looks over. She is with him. Kenshin. Kaoru Dono, stay away! Huh? Two police pull out their swords and clash them right over her head. They cut off a piece of her hair, but that's just the lightning sparks of the blades hitting each other right above her. Kenshin's like, Kaoru, I can take, don't get involved. I was handling this. It will be more embarrassing when we cut her kimono. Wow. It will be more embarrassing when we take off all her clothes. I'll say it again. Draw your sword. So now they're using Kaoru as a hostage. I'm gonna strip this bitch down in the middle of the street if you don't fight me, swordsman. Now we get a shot of Kenshin vertically. Are you really a policeman? He puts his sword on his shoulder. Officer, actually. Permitted to carry a sword. A swordman who can kill people legally. Oh, extrajudicial killings. You guys got that on the books. Two blades at Kaoru's neck. What's the matter? You aren't gonna draw? Then the crowd. Boo! Boo! Cops suck! You aren't a god! You're a tyrant! Go back to the Satsuma! These guys are not into this. Your violence is not winning over the crowd. Are you really a policeman? An officer. Permitted to carry a sword. A swordman who can kill people legally. What's the matter, swordsman? Aren't you gonna draw? It's fucking baiting him. Courage in numbers. It's talking to the crowd. You're just talking shit because you're all standing there together. If I broke you up into one by one, you'd bow. This is now a case of obstruction of justice. Okay. The heroes, ladies and gentlemen. Discipline every one of them! They raise their swords in the air. Draw your swords! And now the people are thinking, oh fuck. This guy's still got his middle finger up and he's like, gonna come beat us up. I got my mouth too big and now they're gonna come beat us up. If any of them resist the discipline, kill. Now we get a shot of the police chasing the citizens to punish them for their rudeness, their obstruction of justice. Kenshin, what did you do? You did this? Is this what you wanted to do? Is that what you're trying to show me, Watsuki? How many fucking revolutions do we need to get peace and honor and cooperative behavior? Then there's some sort of flash. That's usually Kenshin's speed. Do not lay a single blade on any of these citizens. He got everybody's attention. He got Lieutenant's attention. He got Kaoru's attention. He got all the police to look at him. He got all the crowd to look at him. Do you see the change? Kenshin wasn't gonna fight. And then Kaoru comes up and he's like, please don't come up here, Kaoru, because I really don't want to fight. And then the police say, I'm gonna strip your girlfriend down in the street and I'm gonna beat up all these citizens. And then Kenshin gets the sword out. Okay, now it's time. You've gone too far. This is when you've gone too far. At last, he takes the bait. Whatever I do now is clearly in self-defense. These police, they're very they know how to do the law. You need to kill someone every once in a while to keep your skills up. That's the police talking. I gotta shoot someone every once in a while to keep my aim up to snuff. Hard cut. We're not gonna get to see the conclusion of that fight. We're not. Hey, Watsuki, you do that. You did that to me in chapter 1 too. You set me up thinking we're gonna have a huge brawl in the street. Cut. Is it true that he killed many in earning the name Hitokiri Batosai? But never once did he wield his sword in self-interest? All he did for the Emperor and for the new era. It looks like police. It looks like we made it to the police station. We're smoking. He puts out a cigarette. He saves the lives of many of our warriors. Without him, the revolution would not have succeeded. Well, we found the culprit of the hoax tied up in front of the police headquarters early one morning. He doesn't know who arrested him, but we will interrogate the culprits. They said the real one got us. So this is Mustache Guy. He come into Kenshin's town, Kaoru's town. He said, I heard this thing that Batosai was here. This other cop, head cop, is like, well, we found the Batosai. They turned him in and tied him up, and we're going to interrogate him. But what he said was the real Batosai got him. And now Mustache is like, what? Of course, it's probably a lie, but still, the real Batosai in town? He's looking for Kenshin. The cop. The head cop. Chief, there's an incident! I'm in a meeting, fool. At least knock. My apologies, sir, but the sword corps is... Yujiki? Is he causing trouble again? Sword corps? I haven't heard of this. We formed them to handle this Batosai incident, but they are brutal men. And the captain is a revolutionary warrior from the Satsuma. It's too much for me to handle him. Revolutionaries were divided into 5 categories according to their origin. Satsuma, this is the one that everybody hates. Chaosu, Tosa, Haizen, and other. They're saying the revolutionaries were divided into these 5 categories. I guess the warriors from the Satsuma are particularly relevant, cruel? I'm not sure. Satsuma in the police force and Chaosu in the army, dominating them like feudal fiefdoms. Getting away from the feudal system. Mustache. Indeed, a hero from Satsuma must show off, must indeed. So what did he do this time? Well, he, they're getting beaten, sir, by just one swordsman. Watsuki, you cut right at the fight, but you let me know what happened. Kenshin kicked their ass, all of them. What? That's impossible. They're the finest swordsmen in our department. But it's true, sir. He's short, skinny, young-looking, but his sword is faster than the eye can see. Now he looks at his hat like, yep, that's the guy. That's the guy I came here to see. And he looks over, and he has a scar like a cross on his cheek. Well, that confirms it. So Mustache gets in his car. I gotta go see this. This is exactly the guy I was trying to see, and your police are trying to beat him up. Jumps out of the car. Himura! Himura. Is he hurt? No, he's not hurt. No, he's not hurt. Kenshin's in fucking Ultra Instinct right now. I don't know what. Glowing. If I didn't know he was a sword fighter, I'd think his power was something else. But he's just he's just one-shotting 3 people at a time or something like that. Mustache looks over like, oh, Kenshin's unleashed already. I was too late. I couldn't protect the police from this guy. Tap. Kenshin must have touched the ground. 1 left. Who's Mr. I kill for a living. Not looking so powerful now. Looking weak and feeling stupid. The crowd's behind him. Yeah! Kenshin! Kick the police's ass! Don't let him beat us up! Yeah! Completely won over. Guys, you have lost the crowd. Congratulations, officers. Just got beat by a vigilante. And the whole crowd is with him. Swear that you will not tyrannize your people any longer. Then we can end this. And you may arrest this one for violating the Sword Banning Act. I'll follow your laws as long as you follow them. Police. Silence! I cannot bow to you! His stance. Cowers recognizes it in the crowd. Everybody's like, yeah! Cowers shocked. Uh-oh, what's his stance? Cowers, she screams, he's a master of Jinkin Ryu! Yujiki, stop! You're... And then Mustache says, a dead fool. Jiren Ryu is a style of unmatched power, except... Yeah! Kenshin does a backflip, turnover, side twist. Jumps right over his head. He comes behind him and hits him on the back. This guy comes down. Kenshin flips around him and hits him on his back from the air. And homie's eating dirt on the ground, and Kenshin's walking away. I mean, could it have ended any other way? Kenshin! Are you alright? Good job, man! Where are you from? Let's go grab a drink! They're all swarming Kenshin. He saved them! Himura. Kenshin's eyes light up. I'm used to being called by my first name. Who is calling me by my first name? It's Mustache, the police leader. Though Mustache seems to be of a higher rank. Finally found you. For 10 years, Kenshin, I've sought you. You've grown a mustache, Yamagata-san. The Yamagata? Really? Kaoru seems to know. Again, I'm always in. I should be the main character, but as I'm reading, I'm like, I'm just dumb Kaoru too. You gotta explain it to me in Kaoru. General of the Revolutionary Army, Kahitai. Now General of the Army's ground troops. The Revolutionary Warrior, Yamagata Aritomo. Big boss. I have a carriage waiting. He extends his hand as if to escort Kenshin and maybe Kaoru. Many of your comrades await your return. Come. Kaoru's not liking the way this is going down. Kenshin kind of smiles, bows his head a little bit. My apologies, but not one strand of hair on my body wishes to spend the rest of my life as a Hitokiri. I'm not going back. What are you saying, Kenshin? Yes, you killed, but it was all for the revolution. Your soul bears no burden. Only cowards and fools would denounce you as a Hitokiri. But I will! Silence them with your power, Kenshin says, and Mustache takes a moment to be like, oh, yeah, that was exactly what I was going to do, but you're right. Maybe this isn't what our restoration was supposed to be about. It's such thinking that creates men like him. to Satsuma leader over there. Being carried away by the other police because he got his ass kicked. He's Mustang, I've been looking for you for 10 years, man. Come back and join the band. No. Been running from you for 10 years. I don't want to be Hitokiri anymore. Assassin. Kenshin, nobody's gonna... All that killing was done for the revolution. It's not gonna bear any weight on your soul. If anybody talks shit, I will silence them with your power. He's shocked like, shit, yes, but I can tell why that's not a good thing. It's such thinking that creates men like him. It was to create a world of peace, not to win positions or power. Kylo says, oh. That we raised our swords and killed. If we forget that, we are no revolutionaries after all. The reason we killed was to create a world of peace, not to win positions or power. If we forget that, we're not revolutionaries anymore. We're just like them. Warlords. He walks away. I am not gonna join your little group. Himura! God, we're sticking with Kenshin. No question. He walk away, I walk away with him. Times have changed. This is the age of Meiji. Swords have been banned, and the samurai have fallen. This is the age of Bakumatsu no longer. This is an age of law. You'll accomplish nothing with the sword. This is the moment in chapter 2. Kenshin, times have changed. You can't be a samurai. You can't walk around with a samurai code and exact justice like a samurai. This is an age of law. You'll accomplish nothing with the sword. Don't you understand? The samurai have fallen. The age of Bakumatsu is no longer. You want to make a difference in this world, but you don't want to switch to the new world. You want to run around with a sword on your hip. Don't you see we can't do that in the Meiji era? This is an era of law. You know, I find this incredibly relevant because in my country, we have freedom of arms as well. You can walk on the street with a sword. In Japan, where this book was written, you cannot walk around with a sword. You cannot walk around with a gun. You really can't have you pull a knife. That's pretty hardcore. What did they learn that we didn't learn? I'm with Kenshin. The only one who can stop a bad guy with a sword is a good guy with a sword, and you guys suck at swordmanship. How are you ever going to maintain order with the monopoly on violence that you can't live up to? What do we do? Do we join the police and help them? Or do we stay rogue, wandering samurai in an era that doesn't have a place for swordsmanship? With a sword, the people are within my sight. I can at least protect them. He touches Kaoru. You'll accomplish nothing with the sword! With my sword, the people within my sight can at least be protected. Over here, Master Mustache is not like this. Chief Mustache is not like this. He is. I've been searching for you for 10 years, dog. You gotta do laundry at the dojo? You gotta be out of your mind. Kenshin looks over with his nice eyes. These are not the I'm fighting eyes. These are the I have something to say eyes. This one is no different now from before. Except that he is now a Rurouni and not a Hitokiri. I didn't change, man. I'm just doing something else. Kaoru, Kenshin walk away. Pensive silence fills the air. Everybody watches them leave. Chief. I know. It's clear who was at fault here. And a sword worn openly is safer than one concealed. He's trying to justify Kenshin wearing the sword on his Hip, the head cop of the town, I won't pursue this. After that hoax, I thought the Hiteo Kiri Patosai was a dangerous figure. But now I know the truth is different. My apologies, Kaoru Dono. She looks over. I think I understand. You do? Your hair ribbon. It was ruined because of me. At least a little more. He wants to protect people without being tied to anyone. A Rurouni, a hero, but a free spirit. Don't worry about it, Kenshin. You can just do some extra housework. Carrying all this isn't enough? Do you really have to buy it all at once? Maybe I didn't. Kaoru bought a lot of groceries, and Kenshin's got to carry them home. That's what's happening here. That's the joke. But what Suki's also saying in the foreground, I think again, Kaoru's perspective, I think I'm finally starting to understand this guy. He is a hero, but he's a free spirit. He wants to protect people without being tied to anyone. What an incredible concept. Chapter. Easy chapter. Another easy chapter. Kind of an indictment on the police of the whole chapter was really about the police. Guess we'll pick up on Act 3, see where we go next. This is just a cut up version of the chapter of this manga that we read together on my Patreon. If you want to see the full chapter and continue reading the story together, subscribe below.